Hello.
Yeah, that's what I was doing before. You have a very pretty, is this your kitchen?
It's my this is a transition from my kitchen into my living room.
I like it.
Yeah, I had this built when I redid my kitchen because I wanted something that was transitional between the two, because I have a 50s mid-century ranch, and my parents built it, and I wanted to, when I redid the kitchen, I like to entertain, so it's like kind of nice. Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Full day. Where was Mary Beth today? She did not come on to the group 2 coaching.
No, she's away. She's at that Amplify conference.
Okay.
So she's there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She's back on Thursday.
She probably said something and I didn't write it down. If I don't write it down, I don't remember.
You and me both. On Sunday, I texted her to say I won't be on something, and she's like, I'm not gonna be here anyway. I'm like, okay then.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pour
Okay.
myself a glass of water.
I'm going to also make you co-host.
Perfect.
Okay. Good, 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 good. I see we've got Luann here and Ariane, two very experienced agents who've been with us quite a while, so this is going to
So
be
nice to
exciting.
join us.
I'm sorry, but I'm thirsty.
I'm sorry, I have to leave by 6:30 if that's, I figured it, at least it's sometime.
Yeah,
Nice. So nice to see you, Luann.
Hi Kathy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I
I'm
got to meet
good.
your husband the other day at a home inspection.
Yes, he told me.
So now I have his business card.
Oh, good, thanks.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
excellent, excellent. He must be a busy man.
Yeah, he is busy. He's almost getting busier than me.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to wait a few more minutes. I see Tammy's coming on. And yeah, hey, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Which market center are you in, Tammy?
Tenderfly.
Tammy R as in Rappaport?
Yes.
My goodness, Tammy, I know you.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
I was with Coldwell Banker, so that's how I know you.
Which office?
I was the regional. I was a regional and then field operations. For a
Okay.
long time in Wyckoff, manager in Wyckoff with Lynn Brescia.
Okay.
Sally. Yeah,
Okay.
they were agents of mine. So how are you?
Very good.
It's nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How long you are with KW?
I just had my 5th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to go through something that you do all the time. But we're going to Kellerize what you've done.
Okay.
And show, okay. But you're highly successful and have been in the business for a while. So I'm sure you've done this, just it's intuitive for a business mind like yourself. So
Thank you.
I have 3 after. Shall we start and let others? I will let people in as they come.
I think that's a great idea. And I can also admit people too, Patty,
Okay.
depending on who's, whether you're speaking or I'm speaking, right?
Right. So I'm going to have you start since you do the goals, the vision board and the CGI.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. So bear with me a second. Let me just hide that. So, sorry, my screen is taking over itself. All right. So first of all, let me welcome everyone for this evening's session and introduce myself. I'm Kathy Verbeek. I am a foundational coach working with Mary Beth Olive as well as Patty Jalal, and you may know Arlene Bianco and also Shanna Cohen. And Patty and I are tag teaming this evening. I'm also a full-time agent, so I am in production. I'm in the Tenderfly office. I think our offices may be across from one another. And we look forward to our time together today. And we're going to give you a high-level overview. And I'm going to kick off with goals and the why and the vision board. And then we'll do a little tag teaming, right, Patty?
You got it.
Okay. So I'm going to actually share my screen because I want to look at it. I'm going to start with the financial goals. And then we can talk about and I'm going to then weave in the big why and the vision board as we talk about it. So bear with me a second. All right. Is everybody seeing my screen?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, great, great. So, when we become real estate agents, we do it certainly for the love of working with people, but we also want the love of making money, right? Is that a fair statement?
Yep.
And it gives us flexibility in our lives. And if we, use the Keller, one of the euphemisms, one of the, philosophies, it's creating a life by design, creating your perfect life, a life that you've really, you've designed and tailored for what works for you. And when you're looking at creating goals, this is a very simple spreadsheet that you'll see probably over and over again. And, you know, what it's basically doing here is you can see that we've got, you know, how do we want to work with sellers? How do we want to work with buyers? And what you're doing is you're building that financial goal, and you're determining how much money you can make in a year. So I did a very simple calculation. We know that listings are the most productive and the most profitable and take the least amount of time. But some of us may feel that we want to work with buyers and sellers 50-50. Those are personal choices, and everybody gets to decide as a business owner what they want to do. What I've done is just really outlined here, and I'm going to take a few moments. You can see here that we start off with, you know, what's your activity? I'm using what is basically, if you think about a 52-week year, let's just say we're going to work 50 weeks out of the year, and that, you know, we're taking 2 weeks off. And that our goal, and again, this is very simple math. Our goal is that we want to be on a listing appointment once a week for 50 weeks. And the same thing here, you're going to see here. I want to go on a buyer consultation once a week. So that means my goal is really 2 appointments a week, one for buyers, one for listings. And, you know, getting an appointment, you know, this is a contact sport, and being able to get in front of a client and then be able to convert them to either take a listing or to take or to work with them as a buyer. So I've kept this very simple. I've said that out of my 50 appointments, I'm going to get to 75% of those appointments are actually going to happen. And out of those 75% of the appointments happening, my goal is to take 12 listings a year, which are basically 1 listing a month. And I'd like to end up with 12 buyers. And again, I'm keeping this very simple. The numbers are the number you can decide yourself in terms of how many. You can be as small a business or as large a business on it. And then I'm looking at a conversion rate in terms of, I guess my 25% actually refers to the conversion rate between the appointments I've had and the actual listings that I've taken. So I just have that in the beginning, it's going to be a smaller number. You're going to have to go in much more appointments than to be able to actually get those listings and then to bring them to the closing table. So just for my simple in here, I've said 12 and 12 as far as working with 12 buyers, working with 12 listings. And let's say that that nets out to 10 sold for the seller side, 10 sold for the buyer side. And I just used a very simple calculation. I said $500,000. That I think is the number that is the average number in New Jersey. I may be a little bit lower for 50. You can again choose your number. You may be working with buyers and sellers that you're $750,000 or $1 million. Again, these are all levers and different numbers you can use. And all I do is I take my 10 transactions times my average price sold, and that gives me how much inventory that I'm selling for the year. So you can see here, it's 5 million in sales for listings and 5 million in sales for, this should say buyers, excuse me. I take that $5 million on each side. I'm using an average commission of 2.25 because we know that in a lot of cases, we're getting 3% for listings, but we may be getting 2.5% and we may be getting 2%, depending upon who you're working with. So I like to be conservative and I use 2.25%. For that. And when you multiply that out, that comes out to a gross revenue of $112,500. Now that is what is your company gross income. So when you come from a closing, that check, which is a gross amount of dollars, is what comes into the market center. And then from there, you've got to take out your expenses, take out your taxes to get to your net income. So this is when that check is coming from the closing table. In total, if I add up my seller side and my buyer side, I'm saying that my gross revenue for the year is 200. My goal is 225,000. I took out as just a point of reference, 30% for expenses. You want to cover your company split. You want to cover your royalty fee and then any expenses that you have to do with the business. These numbers will vary depending upon how big or small your businesses are. So again, this is an example to illustrate. But if I'm looking to, in this example, my gross is 225,000 based on the expenses taken out. And in taxes, again, I erred to 30%. So my net income after expenses, after taxes, I'm saying that I'd like to net over $100,000 in a year. And so that's what becomes the bottom line, that if you were to say in your bank account and you didn't have to spend any of that money, that's what type of net income you would take home. So
Kathy, if I could just jump in
yeah,
and just ask people, what numbers are that you're seeing, do you feel in your world, in your real estate world, would be different? We can talk average sale price, conversion rate, commission rate. What do you think? Because the reason I ask this is these are areas that you can work on.
correct.
The bottom line is you need to start keeping track of your numbers. All right, how many listing appointments do you have before you get a listing? How many listings do you have? And how many of them sell? What's the percentage? Right now, probably 99.9. In a different market, that's going to be a different number. And in different price ranges, it's different. So it depends on whether you're dealing in the higher end. You might be seeing some changes there, and you might want to have your conversion rate adjust. Sometimes people go as high as 75% on the conversion rate of the business that they initiate. 75% of it gets to closing. So just
Absolutely.
your average sale price may differ, therefore your volume, and then your gross revenue. But don't forget to pay Uncle Sam. And don't forget that you've got expenses.
Absolutely right. And yeah, and Patty's absolutely right. There's levers in this in terms of how small, do you want a small business or do you want a big business? That's a very personal choice. And there's different levers that can make that difference. And that's really how you decide. And it's also something that may evolve over time. When you think about building your financial goal, and there's a couple of things that I'd say in terms of the financial goal. And this ties into a few things. So the way I look at it is I look at it as far as what are my expenses that I need to cover? I want to make sure that out of that $110,000, does that cover, how much of that covers just my basic expenses? Because for me, I'm looking at what is the base expense, but I also want whipped cream. And what do I mean by whipped cream? I want to do fun stuff. I want to go on vacation. I want to be able to go out to dinner when I want to go out to dinner. I want to be able to treat my kids to presents, whatever that is. Everybody, each one of us has those different things. So I know the minimum amount that I want to make. And then I have kind of my goal, my stretch goal of what I'd love to make that would allow me to get that vacation home or to get, you know, I know there's one agent that she's vying for buying a private jet for her family. You know, it's sky's the limit in terms of what you can do as far as you creating the life that you want, and what you put into it. Oh, Mike?
I got it. I took care of it.
All right, good.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when it comes to doing your goals, Kathy used a phrase, and I hope you caught it, stretch goals. Stretch goals. Do you know, I'm told, trust me, I don't know Gary personally, but I'm told that he doesn't make his goals. He doesn't make his goals. He sets his goals so high, they're stretches. Why do you think? I mean, I don't know about you, but I like to make my goals. It makes me feel good. But what happens after you reach your goal? What do you do?
You want
Slow-
more.
Huh?
You want to do better, right?
Excellent. That's the answer of a business person.
Yep.
I love it, Luann. Exactly. Then you say, well, I've made my goal. Obviously, I made my goal too low. Let me readjust it.
Right.
Okay. For some people, when they make their goal, like you want to lose 10 pounds and you lose the 10 pounds, what do? You go out and celebrate. Not good. But you take,
Getting too bad.
yeah, you take your foot off the gas. I mean, it's proven, they've done behavioral studies. So your goal must be a stretch so that you don't come September or even August, start to coast because, hey, I'm there, I made it.
Right, right. So, pushing
By-
yourself. Yeah, go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, by the way, this worksheet is on page 131 in the MREA book.
And you can scale this to whatever size business that you have. Keep the other thing and keep in mind when you're building your goals, think about it from your anniversary date. So for me, my anniversary date with Keller Williams is November 1st. So from November 1st to November 1st, that's the year that I'm looking at bringing in my volume, because we know that when you reach certain levels, you're able to cap. And once you cap, you're getting 100% commission. So you want to think about this and you want to look at and you want to track what your progress is, because ultimately, wouldn't we all love to cap? And I know some of us have, but that's the opportunity, one of the opportunities with Keller Williams. The other thing to keep in mind is, and we're going to talk a few minutes about the big why. So does everybody have a big why right now? What makes you wake up in the morning? What keeps you happy? Anyone willing to share? Or
Yeah, my big why is, I want to put away for improvements to my house, both, and I have a shore house. So I'd like to do that. I'd like to travel and, just enjoy my life.
Be as specific with your big why as you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where do you want to travel? When do you want to travel? How long do you want to be there?
Right.
What specific renovations do you want to do?
Yeah.
I know you know that, but I say that for the ears of others.
Right.
yeah, and it's interesting that Patty says that, because it's something that David Ratney made me think about when he did his big why and when he converted to a vision board. And I'll share my vision board in a moment. But what that did was, he actually, when you think about things, it's like I think about, oh, I can take that vacation. That's one transaction. If I just do one more transaction, I've paid for that vacation, that river cruise. So, you start putting it, and he, with his vision board, he had different things, and he put a number associated with it. So he knew that was one transaction, or I needed 2 transactions for that, or I needed 3 transactions for that. And he tied it together. And I thought that was very interesting to think about it that way.
Yep.
And,
Good.
when you think about your big why, it is very personal, and it's something that is, Gary's big why was originally, he was having a conversation in the beginning of the MREA book, and it was about making a lot of money. And actually what it turned into was, what he realized is his big why was really, I want to be the best that I can be. And if I'm going to be the best that I can be, the money's going to come. And it changed the way he thought about things. So he went after everything in a big way. And I thought that was very interesting in terms of, it really makes you think. And then I'm just going to take a moment and share my vision board, because a vision board is where you can have fun. How do you take what you've done as far as your financial goals and your stretch goals? How do you take your big why? And then how do you illustrate it? And this is something that you can do on your own. You can do with family. Pour yourself your favorite drink. And I'm going to bring up mine.
And I encourage, as Kathy's doing that, I encourage you to have your vision board in front of wherever you do your lead generation.
Yeah.
Because when you your effort starts to wane, just lift up your head, look at that vision board and say, I can make another call. I can do it.
And so here's my vision board in person, but here it is on the screen. And this is something that I did because
Hey,
first
Kathy,
of all,
it's not showing.
Oh, let me share. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
This is me sometimes as a very bad race car driver. Is it showing now?
Oh, yes. Disruptive, glorious glamour, extraordinary experiences, live like you bring the party. I love that. New possibilities with passion, ingenuity, and hard work. Infinite bliss. Excellent. Boy, you're going away a lot.
Yes, well, that is for me, funding at this point in my life, funding the perfect life is being able to say yes to whatever vacation. And I love the beach. And of course, we love lovely things. So I had to surround myself with lovely things. And in the middle, actually, this was an interesting exercise we did with the vision board, because we were asked to invoke a word. What's the word? And then surround it. And that emotion and happy is what I wanted to be. And it's also
That's a nice twist.
Yeah, it was a really nice twist in terms of thinking about it. And it's interesting because I will tell you that this past year, the words have come to life for me in terms of, I still have a long way to go in terms of where I'd like my business to go, but being disruptive, I got myself out of my comfort zone. I created new possibilities. I was in the driver's seat and I got involved in coaching. I've done different things. I've done more business than I've done in the past. I'm having, I like to have fun. I work hard, but I also like to, play hard too.
Play
so
hard.
I really enjoy life. So anyway, that's just mine, but it ties into what my goals are and what I'm trying to strive for. And you want to kind of pull that together so that you constantly are looking at, where is that North Star that I'm aiming for financially, emotionally, and have a little fun with it and engage your family or your friends, whoever's important to you, because they can also help you get to that next level.
Good.
So, okay.
All right. Anybody have any questions about the big why or doing that exercise on, working through your goals? Number of appointments, number of transactions. Before we go to the next step, this is a major overview. So I would encourage you to, I'm going to share my screen now. And okay. The next thing we're going to do, and because I have someone of Tammy's caliber on this, we're going to talk a minute about the GPS. You've all heard of this. Sometimes people refer to it as the 135, but then it was changed to the GPS, your goal, your priorities, and your strategies. So Kathy, can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy just went through, what is your goal? Now, when we do the next step, which is the 411, the goal, put a personal aspect to it. This is your business goal. It needs to be big, audacious. And then what are your priorities to get to that goal? And there should be 3 priorities. And then a strategy in each one. So I have some examples here. And for agents who are striving high, this is a sample where they were hoping to close 122 units, 73 listings, 49 buyer transactions, and then the strategies involved. Okay. And then customer care. So that's pretty good priorities. Buyers, okay, listing transactions, buyer transactions, and customer care. Huge, huge priorities, and how to do that. Strategies are more specific. Okay. Now let me show you some other GPSs. This is another one. This might be more towards someone who's starting new. One of the priorities might be to build your database. Number 2 might be build your geographic database, frequently your neighborhood or your town, and then have maybe a demographic group that you're going to try to market yourself to. Here it's empty nesters. For some people, it's going to be, don't let that get too specific, by the way, especially as a new person, be a generalist. Don't, pick something too specific because it might not work out in the long run. And here are the strategies underneath each, trying to get this right, under each priority. So your database, you're going to create campaigns. We now call them smart plans. You're going to add 10 contacts to your database per week. You're going to contact 20 people in your sphere using a specific script. You're going to have lunch with your core people. You're going to conduct 2 client appreciation events per year. All right, doing your geographic area, you're going to preview all the listings in your target market so that you are the area expert. You're going to do direct mail. Yep, back to the old US Postal Service lick a stamp. That's coming back in because everybody went to email and nobody was. And by the way, I don't know about you, but I go out to my mailbox. Many a day, there's nothing there except for Kathy, all sorts of vacation brochures. Contact 50 people a week in your specific area, conduct open houses. All right, it gives you an idea. This one I like also, a priority, develop your real estate skills. Number of appointments you want per month, kind of like what Kathy did, 2 a week. And then implement the business systems. Okay, so.
Patty, if I could add in.
Please.
When we think about putting your strategies in place, what we use is it's called SMART, and it's an acronym, and it stands for S is for specific. So what's that specific task? You're going to build your database. Measurable. I'm going to build my database to 150 people, right? That's measurable. Achievable. It's something realistic. I didn't say within the first 6 months, I'm going to put it to 500. That may not be realistic or achievable. So I made it achievable. Results oriented. It's result oriented because I said I'm going to do this and I can achieve that goal. And it's time based. I said that I was going to do it by, let's say, December 2021. So think about those things, because what you want to be able to do with the GPS, just as your goals will evolve, as your business evolves and your vision board is going to evolve, your GPS will continue to evolve as you mature in your business.
Absolutely.
And so those goals, you'll raise the stakes. So it's really nice. Doesn't it feel good when we all can check something off the list? Hey, I added those 150 people.
I learned that early in the business because this is a business that can consume you. And like, there's no end of day, there's no clocking out, and it can hang over your head unless you have your activities specific, as Kathy just said, specific, measurable time, and where you can actually say, you know, I've done that. I deserve the night off. I can take personal time guilt-free. So this actually serves you to help you counterbalance the time. So, and I have a couple more things, and here's a blank form. And I highly recommend that you do this. And as Kathy has wisely pointed out, it's going to evolve. You may like your GPS for a month and then say, you know what, I think I need to upgrade that. And especially this time of year, we're encouraging everybody to revamp your business plans, because before you know it, you'll be working on business for 2022. So here's a blank form. I have a couple other tricks up my sleeve. We're going to do the 411 in a minute. Oh, okay. Bear with me. I have a couple of these and we'll get to that.
I have a question, Patty. I stepped
There
away,
we
so
go.
you answer this. Are we going to get a copy of this? Is great. Like in the beginning, I saw.
Yeah.
that
I'm
it
going
was
to ask you if you want what Kathy did, please email Kathy.
Okay.
And if you want the stuff that I'm going over,
Okay.
just email me and I will send it to you. And I just put my email in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Now, this is something I had made up when I was managing. And we didn't have the nice tools for like Keller Williams does. But this is really kind of Me Inc. And I called it Me Inc. way back then. If you're going to be having 10 real estate conversations a day, it's like, who the hell am I calling? And this kind of sphere of influence, call around a listing, call around a sale, open house invite, open house follow-up, expired FISBOs. Notice cold is just a very small portion of the people that you're going to be reaching out to. And you should be aiming to 2 to 3 open houses per month. Now, it's been a tough market to do that, both because of COVID and houses flying off the market, but remove any limiting beliefs you may have. Open houses can be done on Saturday. It doesn't have to just be on Sundays. And they don't have to be 3 to 4 hours. They can be 2 hours. So that you can maybe do a couple on a weekend and yet still have time for appointments and private and personal time. Anybody know what a Popeye is? You should be doing 2 Popeyes a week. That's a Brian Buffini, for those of you who may have studied Brian Buffini. That's where you literally stop by someone's house unannounced, someone who is either a past client or someone who's an influencer. And you stop by and you have a little tchotchke. If they have animals, maybe you're bringing a little toy or a special dog cookie, or maybe if they get really into the Halloween, maybe you bring them something related to Halloween, something small, not expensive. You literally knock on their door and they say, oh my God, Joseph, come on in. And you're going to be, no, I just came in. I knew I was going to be in the neighborhood, and I knew Fido would love this chocolate chip sort of doggy cookie. So I was just thinking on you, and I'm on my way to an appointment. I can't stay, but no, I'm thinking on you. And you might say, by the way, if you can think of anyone, who do you know who's thinking of buying, selling, or investing? Okay, love you lots, and then you leave. Okay, that's a Popeye. Mailers, you should be doing here. I'm aiming low, 250 e-newsletters. For those of you who are highly experienced in real estate, can you give me an idea on how many people you send monthly electronic, like newsletters or smart plans to? Okay. That's all right, but you should be doing it to at least 250 people a month. That implies that your sphere of influence, your database, is at least 250. You should be doing at least 10 handwritten notes a day. And again, those conversations that you had, I know it says per week, I'm telling you per day. Those conversations should be followed up with a handwritten note. And you're not writing something like major. You're just saying, thanks for taking the time to speak with me today. I really felt good after I got off the phone with you. Make it a great day. Put your business card in. Just short and sweet, or sorry I missed you. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. Call me anytime if you have any real estate needs, whatever. It's just short and sweet. US mail, sphere of influence, mailing around a listing, mailing around a sale. By the way, they do not have to be your listings or your sales. If you look at the scripts that you've been given, it's, hey, your neighbor just listed their house. You're not saying it's your listing. Doesn't even have to be a Keller Williams listing, but especially if it's in your market area. Hey, your neighbor just put their house on the market. Wouldn't it be nice to pick your neighbor? Who do you know who's thinking of buying in your neighborhood? Certainly you've had people over and they said, oh my God, if any of the houses come on in this neighborhood, let me know. And of course, houses previewed. I hope you're getting out on the weekends. If you are dual career, if not during the week, to see houses. Now, it's great to preview houses on the MLS, but sometimes those cameras can be very deceiving. So, okay, script practice 2 to 3 times a week. Additions to your database. I don't know why it turns blue on me. Somebody with better computer skills could tell me. And don't forget your training, your education. That never stops. Learning the basics, practicing the basics never stops. And then your transaction. So I call this the Me Inc. These are your strategies. You know, those specific things, but make them specific, like as Kathy had recommended. Okay? Questions before I leave this? Okay, could someone mute themselves, please? Or Kathy, could you mute someone? Now, can anybody hear the noise in the background? If not, okay, I'll ignore it. Okay, then, so now Kathy has taken you from your goal, your vision board. You know how much you want to make. I've helped you or guided you so that you select the priorities to help you get to that goal. And then you've brought it down a little bit in the form of strategies. Okay, now we're going to go through the almost final, and bear with me. Going to go back there, but I'm going to bear with me.
Just while Patty's looking that up, and with this Me Inc., one of the things that you can do is you can actually lay out 6 months, or you can lay out a year, and you can kind of layer in, you know, your marketing plan. So how often are you sending out those mailers? How often are you emailing people? Where are you, what type of messaging are you going to plan for social media? So you can become very planful, and the types of messages that you want out there, so that you are getting your name out there, because consistency is one of the things that's very important.
Yep, Kathy, I love it. I love it. And it's going from entrepreneurial, and you know, people enter real estate, and you don't have to go to school very long to learn how to do real estate at an entry level. But you're not, the entrepreneur ability will take you only so far. It's like a natural athlete. They'll do well up to a point, but then they've got to train. They've got to go to the gym. They've got to strengthen those muscles. They've got to learn the tactics. And that's what you have to do. You have to go from entrepreneurial to purposeful. And the way to do that is to have a very specific plan. Now I'm taking you to mykw.kw.com. Can you all see my screen?
We still see the Me Inc. right now.
Do you? Then I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to go back in. Hang on, let me do that. Let me.
Well, you do that, Patty. There's just one other comment I wanted to make, and what it ties into is, again, this is a Keller Williams, you know, one of our philosophies, and it's leading with revenue. So if you are newer to your business, you know, you may not be sending out mailers on a regular basis. If it may be that that's 4 times a year versus every month, because right now that doesn't make sense based on the level of your business to invest in that direct mail piece. So there are levers, and you always want to make sure you're leading in revenue, and it's kind of called red light, green light. So green light is revenue, go. I can spend some money, and I can put some money on the business and spend money on the business to go and to build it further. Red light is, you know what, I'm spending too much money. I don't have enough revenue coming in. Let me adjust and see what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not putting my money in the right place. It's not getting me a return. So want you to just think about that as you put your own plan in place.
Okay, so I came into mykw.kw.com. This is a great resource, and it has some good information. And where I'm taking you is education. And over on the left, you might not be able to see it very well, but it's the 411 tool. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to click on the productivity tool, and I'm going to click go on to the online tool. These are instructions on how to use the tool, but I'm going to show you. And I'm going to go back. I think it's July. Bear with me. Maybe it was June. Here we go. This is good enough. The reason I did this one, well, maybe, hang on. I obviously use this for demonstration. So Okay. This is what we call your 411. You have 1 year, 1 month, 4 weeks. And this is where you take everything that we've just gone through and put it in your 411. And this you can do literally on the site. And so your yearly goals might be, what are you going to net? Whatever your income goal, make sure you describe it as either gross or net. Just make sure you do that. How many closings is that? That you're going to attend, bold. And then here you put those personal goals. Kathy's mentioned several times. 2 major vacations, that should be more specific. Purchase a 2-family home in Hawthorne for $450. That's how specific your goals should be. Oh, and I have 2 major vacations again. All right, obviously I was playing with this, but go ahead and as specific as you can make this, the better. Your goal can be income, it can be number of transactions as far as your business goals, your personal goals. If it's you want to buy a house, where, what price range. And then you're going to take those annual goals and you're going to make them monthly. You're literally dividing them by 12. Don't check my math. Again, I was using this for, but in the monthly goals, you're going to start to add, remember from the Me Inc., some of those things that you're supposed to be doing on a monthly basis. All right, the e-newsletters. Refer to Me Inc. when you're putting together your monthly goals. Now, the 411 is kind of a hybrid in that it has your goals and your actions. It's one of the tools that has your goals and the actions. So my goal obviously is to net X number of dollars, have X number of closings, but it's also telling me that I have to do my monthly e-newsletter to the sphere of influence. I have to do my monthly mailer to my neighborhood. Okay. And again, it should be more specific. Now, what's nice about this tool is this check mark here, this box with the check, it says add all the goals from the previous period so that you're not refilling the top 2 categories here. You're literally borrowing from the previous months. However, down here, okay, now I got to go find my other one. The weekly goals is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, I do have it down here and I should have remembered where to put it. And I didn't. Oh, how silly of me. I apologize for taking your time. There we go. It's under June. So now you're getting even more specific. This is highly measurable. What am I doing this week? I'm going to add 10 people to my database. I'm going to have 50 real estate conversations. Again, this is from like that Me Inc., but now you're doing the weekly stuff. 50 handwritten notes, 25 properties previewed. I bring down my GCI. I take that monthly GCI and break it down to weekly. Now, we all know in real estate, income doesn't necessarily come like a salary does, but you still should be monitoring how close you are to the goal you set. Okay, business meeting, I'm going to discuss that in a minute. 25 KW apps shared, 3 appointments, social media posting, again, make it more specific. Now, the business meeting, it's interesting. Do you think people in business have regular meetings? Yeah, well, you're the CEO of your business. You're the CEO. So don't you think you should be meeting with yourself once a week at a prescribed time? I know Sunday night happens to be a favorite time for many people. Sunday, it may be 8 o'clock at night. Make it a date and a time where you literally pull up your 411 and say, okay, did I add 10 people to my database? Actually, I added 12. Great. Okay. 50 real estate conversations. You know what? I only had 45. So guess what? Now I have to do 55 real estate conversations this week. Okay. Did I do 50 handwritten notes? No, I did 30. So, you know, there'll come a point where you can't make it up, but maybe you want to do 60 handwritten notes. Okay, but notice only the first week is filled out. It's at your business meeting with yourself that you then fill out the next week. And then when you're finished, you go on to the next week and the next week. When you're done with that, I would encourage you not, make sure that you fill this out manually. It's a great reminder of what you have to do. And it also makes you eyeball everything and gives you the ability to move from week 1 to week 2. And then your personal goals down here at the bottom. Now, do you need for me to go over where this was?
Show us again, Patty, where this actual, where you can access this online tool to add things, please.
And for some reason, it paused me on my share. So
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing and go back in. Okay. It is in mykw.kw.com. Go into education. Okay. Go into education. And then over to the left is your 411 productivity tool. Okay.
Thank you, Patty.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Now, we're almost finished. Now you've got those weekly goals. Where was that? August? Was it? No, it was June. You've got all these goals, right? The weekly goals. Anybody want to take a guess what the next step is? The next and final?
Daily,
I'm sorry?
daily goals.
Daily.
Say daily? Okay, daily goes. Okay. Yeah, in the form of a calendar. Your next step is to take all of this stuff and reduce it to a calendar. Go on to Publisher or any of those if you like, if you're a paper person. If not, go into your digital camera and time block. Time block for this. Now, there's going to be a time, and it should be prime time for making calls, not when you're tired, not after you've gotten everything else done. The most important thing you can do is lead generate. And until you have sufficiently done your lead generation, everything else is a distraction. So take your calendar, and if you can, the beginning of every day. If you can't, pick a time in the evening and maybe the weekends when you're fresh, and do your lead generation. Don't forget you're going to take some time, block some time to do open houses. And maybe 4 days before, you're going to block some time to send open house invitations. The Monday after, you're going to block time for open house follow-up. That you can do that in your lead gen time. You're going to block time to do your social media. Going to block time to do those postal mailers. All the things that you are going to do here, you're going to block time. Now, when I managed, and I used to tell agents, I would ask agents, what do you have planned this Sunday? What do you have planned this weekend? Well, I'm not sure I have an appointment. I'd say, you're going to do an open house. Well, I'm not sure they're going to want to go out. And my response would be, and what happens if they don't want to go out on Sunday? Then you've just wasted a day. Clients will work with you. You ask any top producer, because they have to juggle their schedules because they're so damn busy that people have to adjust to their schedule. You know what? They're going to adjust to anybody's schedule if you handle it properly. But you never give up lead generation, which is what an open house would be, in addition to servicing the sellers, to take care of your business. Never give up lead generation for an appointment. Change the appointment. Because you know what happens? You go out on the appointment, you come home, you're tired, and you don't do your lead gen. Does that sound like heresy?
Patty, can I show a skeletal schedule that has helped me that I then converted into my Google Calendar, just so the group can kind of.
There you
get a-
go. Yep.
I'll
It's
only
all-
take moments. See if I can bring this up. Hold on, I have to get the right schedule up. Bear with me.
It's okay.
Okay, can you guys, I know this might be, is this too small to see? Are you seeing my?
We're not seeing your screen. We're still seeing the,
All right, hold.
what you had up before. Yeah, by the way, don't forget to book appointments in that calendar, script practice. Everything that's in your strategies and you know, going all the way back to your strategies and your priorities. Anything that is an action item, time block it. Okay,
See if it's gonna come up. Hopefully it will come up. It's
I
like-
saw it a minute ago. It was
Okay.
there. You
All
had
right.
one there, all color coded.
Yes, yes. So this is something that you, again, and you know, something in color that they help us think about. And so can you see my color coded?
Yeah, we
schedule?
do.
So
We see you exercise every day from 8
Oh.
to.
on my calendar, I do. But you know, you know, what it does is it gives me a framework in terms of, you know, when I get up in the morning and I, you know, I can say my affirmations, you know, having my breakfast, doing my exercise, getting on the daily mindsets call, prepping for my day. You know, as Patty said, I book time with myself to prep for my day. You can see here, I chose Monday to spend some time working on my marketing materials. Notice how when I'm working on lead generation, everything is in green. The colors are purposeful because green equals money.
Money.
So the you know, lead generation is money, follow-up is money. So I've blocked out, you know, time for lead generation. I blocked out time for script practice because we have to keep on practicing our skills. I blocked out time. I give myself permission to take a little time for lunch. I have my coaching with Mary Beth, and then I have my afternoon for my business follow-up and also for appointments. Whoops, sorry. You can see here as the week goes on, I actually do block out time. Here's my Pilates that I do every week, that I am committed to. And then I have my time listed here in terms of when it's personal time for me versus when I'm having time to go on appointment, listing or buyer consultation.
I see you have a mastermind session there.
Mastermind, right? I happen to use Fridays. I work a little bit in the morning, but the rest of the day is my personal time. But you can see here is what Patty was mentioning, you know, on a Saturday, kind of look at it as you wanted to optimize your Saturday, you could end up having appointments from 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4, as an example. You could actually take out 3 different sets of buyers if you had that type of business and wanted to book your schedule that way. And then I have time for open houses. Now, I'm not always leading an open house, but what I'm doing is I'm going out and I'm going to go visit open houses because I want to stay up to date with what's happening in the inventory in the area that I want to do business on. And
It'll
also,
also, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, the only thing else I was going to say is that also is where you get to see other agent styles and you get to meet other agents. So you're building your network because you never know who you might do business with. So go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, no, perfect, perfect. And yet it gives you, what was I going to say? Looking at the inventory, it gives you something to talk about when you're making those calls, when you're calling your sphere of influence. And just a little hint, pull up their Facebook page when you're calling them and just see what they've done lately. However, this is not, I mean, it's a business call. Please keep the business. It doesn't mean it can't be warm and fuzzy. But if you're taking 10 minutes for every call, you're not going to get a lot of calls done. You know, it can't be too terribly chatty, but it can be very personable. But you can say, oh my God, the house down the street has the most fabulous kitchen. Who do you know who cooks? Well, I do. Didn't you know I cook? Oh my God, would you like to go see this? Sometimes people don't even know that they're going to become buyers. But as the market changes, you're going to have to create the market. And your conversations will do that through your market knowledge. You'll get people excited about what you've seen. I would say we went through everything, Kathy. Look what time it is. Woo!
In last few moments together, anyone have any questions or comments?
I know you guys mentioned it before, just how to get the PDF and the spreadsheet of the information today.
Spreadsheet, yeah, if you just, Joseph, if you can send me an email, Kathy Verbeek at KW. I can't even speak anymore. Kathy Verbeek at KW.com. I'd be happy to send it to you.
You want to
know-
put that in the chat in case, yeah, I mean, your name is there. They can see. If it's the section that I taught, reach out to me.
In the chat, I have my Kathy Verbeek at KW.com is there. So please reach out. I'm happy to give that spreadsheet. And if you want anything else, if you want the parts that Patty has gone over, please reach out to Patty.
Mhm.
If you want a copy of the schedule that I shared with you, I can send that also. Just let me know. In that, there's actually a blank page that you can create your own. I take that schedule, that's my framework. That's getting my mind around the type of business and the type of time I want to spend on my business. I have full-time goals. I need to spend my time full-time on real estate. And then I translate that to my Google Calendar because I live and breathe with my Google Calendar.
Yeah. And Command, which is another class.
And then that's another, for another day.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Just if you need what Kathy taught, just use her. Kathy Verbeek, she's Kathy with an I at kw.com, and I'm P. Jalal, Jalal at kw.com, and we'll send you stuff. Okay. Remember, you need to have goals. You need to have a direction. That's why we call it a GPS. Okay. Thanks for taking the time, and congratulations on you took another step in investing in your career. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a
Thanks.
good night.
Good night,
Thank
Kathy.
you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.